Hello, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of The Classroom, starring myself, Double K. You know I bring it right here with the dual O'Malley or Swab, depending on the week. So y'all tune in and listen to what this week's hottest debate topics are right here on 4 Aces Presents.
The following 4 Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hello, guys, and welcome to this week's edition of The Classroom. I am Double K, K Double, and I am here as one of your co-hosts today. There's always two on every episode of The Classroom. Last week it was me and Mr. Suave. This week it is me and the one and only O'Malley. What's up, Mama?
What's up? It's been a while.
Oh yeah. You know, it's time to get back to talking sports. You know, we haven't had a chance to do this in a long time. You know, I believe the Warriors were in the finals last time we got to talk sports. So we're not going to try to cover everything.
We won a whole ass championship.
A whole ass unexpected championship, but well, say,
right.
You know, but speaking of unexpected championships, the Kansas City Chiefs, as much as a lot of people hate them and, you know, not many people are fans of Patrick Mahomes. Nah, that's a lie. Too many people are fans of that man.
It's his wife that people don't like.
You know, but, you know, so he did something that I'm going to be honest with you. I was one of those people at the beginning of the year that was like, he done lost Tyreek Hill. You know, his major deep threat, that's going to completely change their game. They're going to have to depend more on the running game. It's just not going to be that same high-powered, you know, high-scoring Chiefs offense. And, well, let me just say right now, I was wrong. It was enough of an offense to get them to another Super Bowl and win them another Super Bowl over the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not going to lie. As a 49ers fan, it was nice to watch the Eagles lose. I don't take joy in their sorrow, but because I understand from a couple years back what it was like to go to a Super Bowl and lose. But with as much as Eagles fans talked after they beat us and our four-string quarterback, yeah, that's what they deserved. But that's just my personal opinion.
Hold on, though. Niner fans brought that on themselves too, yo.
I would be inclined to disagree, but please expound.
No, but I mean, all the shit that the Niners fans were talking before the game, all of the, and I'm not, Kev, you know, when I'm talking about this, it's not you. I'm not talking about the diehards, because I know y'all are there. I'm talking about the ones who bought season tickets and then don't go when they're not winning. Right? When I talk shit, that's who I'm talking about, right? And they're the ones who get all freaking butthurt because they want to be the fans when their team is winning, and they want to be assholes about it too. And then when their team is losing, they're nowhere to be found, and yeah, people are going to be assholes right back. But I felt.
Oh, trust me, I'm a fair is fair type guy. Like, if I talk shit to you and we lost, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take my comeuppance. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take my rally back. You know, because I will be giving it to you if y'all team lost. So I'll take it.
Absolutely. And it's all in good fun too. Like, I mean, that's the thing is, I laugh when people get so freaking crazy serious about it, and I'm like, it is all in good fun. Like, if you can't handle it, then maybe you shouldn't be talking shit.
Well, and it's like okay. I'll use a prime example. If I'm in a lot of NBA groups, and a lot of these groups have a tendency to break down to name calling and stupid, because these guys don't know how to process emotions and just deal with the fact that somebody disagrees with them. Like right. It's not even about like whether or not you're right or wrong. But yet
it's how you handle the situation.
Exactly. But yet they literally argue like their mama's life is on the line if they lose. You know what I'm saying? They debate like somebody is literally going to die if they aren't declared the winner. You know, and it's right. It just blows my mind, because the same thing happens, like you said, there was a lot of 49er fans who talk garbage. I had told Suave, I'll be honest with you, I talked garbage from one angle and one angle only. I said this. I said, if y'all get beat by us and our third string quarterback, that's just sad. That's the way that I came at it. But I also came at it from the angle of, we're playing with our third string quarterback. We really shouldn't even be here. Like, we lost our third string quarterback in game 7. Like we should have fell apart and not even made the playoffs, let alone been in the conference championship game. But God bless God bless the 49ers, or the football gods bless the 49ers long enough for them to be there. So as far as I was concerned, win or lose, they was playing with house money. But at the end of the day, it was like wow. As soon as that boy Purdy went out, it was like, wow, dude. Like, yeah, this game is over. What we gonna do with Josh Johnson? Like on the real, it was never any expectation after that moment. Even when he came back in, the minute he wasn't throwing, I was like, this game's over. You're not gonna win with nothing but a run game, no matter how good your run game is. But the Eagles tipped their hats to them. They took advantage of a situation that was already tenuous at best with the 49ers, and they used it to put the final nail in the coffin of what was a dream season. You know, because
I honestly think that they would have won even if Purdy hadn't gone out. The thing that bothers me the most is that we'll never know. Right.
Right. It would have been a lot closer of a game, is always my point. I'm not stating that Purdy would have been enough to put the 49ers over the top. And I said this to Swab the next day. I'm not saying Purdy would have won the game, but it definitely would have looked different. It wouldn't have been 38-7. So that's
no doubt. No doubt on that. That's facts right there.
Because the defense by the second half was just gassed. They had been out there like 60-70% of the first half, and they were just gassed. Yeah. And so, like, it was like what was one of the top defenses in the NFL coming into the game. Just the way Shanahan's system works on offense and defense is symbiosis. The offense has to put together long drives in order to give the defense the type of rest so that the defense can play at that highly aggressive level, almost nonstop. You know, foot on the pedal through the whole game.
That worked out for him in the past.
Yeah. You know,
he doesn't have a good track record with that either.
I don't know.
Especially in the big game.
I don't know. The man's been to 2 Super Bowls. Like, he may have lost both, and he may have lost both in embarrassing fashion, but also, like...
But it's a pattern. It's a pattern. How it's happening is a pattern.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you that it's a pattern. But I think this particular loss, the Kansas City loss is on him. The Atlanta loss is on him. But I always ask people this, and yeah, I know this kind of like props up those LeBron fans' points. But would you rather have a team that's always in it, or would you rather have a team that's sitting at home every year come Super Bowl time? And to be honest with you, I'll take.
Okay, but that's always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Very true. Very true. It's definitely that mentality. But you have to think of it because.
But you're right.
Because you can't necessarily shrug off all of the good. You know what I'm saying? They did finish the season 13-4 after having to go to their third string quarterback. You can't shake off all of the good.
And that was the thing. And that was one of the things I think that upset me was it was like how people were starting to talk about it. Is like the way that you should be looking at it is, does this loss suck? Absolutely. But this is actually bodes well for our future. And the fact that they were able to do all of this, Yes, with the third string quarterback who probably won't be third string quarterback, right? So, it just, and that often especially with the 49ers, that usually what happens when they get their next greatest quarterback is the one that comes in for the one off of injury.
The one that and see where me and Swab keep going back and forth about it is that I keep telling him, like, no offense to Trey Lance, but Trey Lance just didn't show me what Brock Purdy showed me in that 7, 8, 9 game run in the 4 starts that he had. Now, I'm not saying he's not capable of doing those things. I'm saying he didn't show it to us. He has not shown us what Brock Purdy showed us, so it's going to be a tough decision for Kyle Shanahan next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Only thing that's for sure is Jimmy's gone. Like I have this weird feeling, like, not to talk too much about this. We'll get back to the Super Bowl here in a couple seconds, but I think Jimmy could have came in the NFC Championship game and just said nope. Like I think that's why it's 100% sure now, because not even Shanahan will give a notion to the fact that Jimmy may be back like next year as a backup. Like, nobody's giving any type of notion to it. And I think part of the reason why is because I think Jimmy could have played in the NFC Championship game and just said nope and stayed his ass on the bench. Because there's pictures of him on the sideline laughing and having a good old time. And I'm like,
yeah.
I wonder if that's when the relationship between him and Shanahan soured, as they say.
Hella sus.
But needless to say, the Super Bowl itself was a great game, though. Like, and Eagles,
absolutely.
But here's what's funny, though, is that you talk about the story with Shanahan. Now that exact same story has happened to Nick Sirianni. 10-point lead at halftime. Second half, for some odd reason, the Chiefs just all day. Only difference between the 49ers Super Bowl and this Super Bowl is the Eagles were actually able to put up a couple of points and make it an interesting game. But the end result was the same. 10-point lead at halftime, Chiefs win. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And also,
that was rough.
Yeah, it was. Because trust me, at halftime, I for sure thought the Eagles had it in their back pocket. But there's a little half-breed dude named Mahomes that had something to say about that. Him and his busted hip, or busted ankle, or whatever the fuck he had wrong with him, coming out 13 or 14. But I'll say this: everybody's expecting. I want to say the Eagles are the favorite to repeat as NFC champs. But I think you really have to take a look at their situation. They did just lose their O coordinator and their D coordinator to head coaching jobs.
Yeah, so, that's the downfall of doing really well, right? Is that your coaching staff and people start getting those offers now.
That Niners defense ain't played as good as they played for D'Amico Ryans. Well, they played decent, but they played even better than they played 2 years ago for D'Amico Ryans this year. And of course, where'd he go? He's the head coach for the Texans now. Even though, let me say this, okay, as much as we talk about the Rooney Rule, Kyle Shanahan has personally put more minority head coaches into the NFL than almost anybody else that I've ever seen. Kyle Shanahan's staff by himself every year, another minority candidate. That's why the Niners have like 6 third-round picks this year, because they got all these picks from Robert Saleh being signed, Mike McDaniel being signed, and now D'Amico Ryans being signed. Like, yeah, go on with your bad self, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, hey. Gotta appreciate that.
Shoot. But I wish Saleh. I see Saleh struggling over there. Maybe he'll get Aaron Rodgers over there in New York. We'll talk about that after the break. But maybe he'll get Aaron Rodgers over there. Maybe he'll get Derek Carr. Oh, that's another situation we got to chat about too. Maybe he'll get Derek Carr over there. But maybe he'll get himself a competent quarterback, because that team that team right there, that New York Jets team, was one competent quarterback away from making a decent push in the playoffs. So, or
yeah,
even
there's
getting
a lot
to
of
the
people
playoffs.
that have been tying Derek Carr to the Jets. So
I know he's already done a meeting with them. So, but like I said,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that after the break. You're listening to Four Aces Presents The Classroom right here, or not Four Aces Presents, I'm all off. First Gen Xers presents The Classroom right here on Spreaker.com. You can also catch us over on Live 365, where I'm going to tell you about the lineup over there on the break, and we'll see y'all after the break. Peace. Hey guys, it's Double KK Double here. I'm here to bring you the new weekly schedule, Monday through Friday, for this wonderful network, the new rebranded First Gen Xers Radio Network. Hope you guys have been enjoying classic episodes from the Four Aces Presents Radio Network, which turned into First Gen Xers. We still have some of the same great shows, but this time it's just with a more gamer type twist. Now, let's get to the classic episodes Monday through Friday right here on Four Aces, or First Gen Xers Radio. Sorry, I got that wrong. West Coast Bias opens us up at 12:30 in the morning with new episodes Monday through Friday, or new classic episodes Monday through Friday. We follow that up now with Now versus Then classic episodes at 3 a.m. At 6:30 a.m., we follow that up with Double K's Classroom, a half hour of sports magic for you. New daily there. And then a classic episode of KD5P, the same show that you can hear here every week on Saturday nights at 8. And then that's at 7:15 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. We then move on to NVT Deuce Classic. And that precedes the 1 o'clock Cheap Pop Podcast Revisited episode Monday through Friday. And then we have West Coast Bias Revisited. It's the replay of the morning episode, 3 a.m. morning episode at 3:30 p.m. A replay of the 7:15 a.m. KD5P at 5:45 p.m. A replay of the Now versus Then Classic from 3 a.m. at 8:15 a.m. And we close the day with another strong episode of Double K's Classroom at 11:30. So I hope you guys continue to listen in, tune in, and see what's coming, because we got a lot more going right here on the First Gen Xers Radio Network. Peace. And I'm back. This time I'm here to bring you the Saturday lineup for right here on First Gen Xers Radio Network. Again, thank you for listening in. The Saturday lineup opens up at 12:30 a.m. with Brick House, then followed up by at 2:45 a.m. with Reality Radio Classic. We then move on to 5:30 a.m. where we see Ms. Optimism bring one of her classic episodes right here to First Gen Xers Radio Network. 8 a.m. sees the Sidebar return with a classic episode every Saturday. And 10:45 sees Dirty Talk 101 with that girl Essie. 1:15 on Saturdays sees Mr. Deacon's Experience get revisited, classic episodes of Mr. Deacon Experience. And then 4 p.m. sees the Raw Impact Unleashed, Raw Impact Unleashed on Saturday and Sunday. And then at 6:30 p.m. we have a 1-hour condensed episode of Dirty Talk 101. And then the last episode of the night would be me here live at 8 p.m. on Saturday with KD5P, a brand new episode every week. So be sure to tune into those episodes on Saturdays every week right here on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network. And next up, we will have the Sunday episodes. Peace. And last but not least, we do the Sunday lineup for First Gen Xers Radio. And it opens again, just like on Saturday, with Brick House 2.0 Classic. New episode from the Sunday episode. Reality Radio checks in at 2:45 a.m. And then we go to Ms. Optimism Classic at 5:30 a.m. Followed by the Sidebar again at 8 a.m. Dirty Talk 101 at 10:45 with Essie and the girls. girls, and then we have the Mr. Deacon Experience at 1:15, followed by a live edition of The Classroom featuring either Double K, O'Malley, Suave, The Duel, or some combination thereof, debating the hottest topics in sports today. Then we'll have at 4:20, the new episode of Raw Impact Revisited. Then you have Dirty Talk 101, a replay episode from earlier in the day, from the 10:45 episode, AM episode. And then Mr. Deacon Revisited, which is a replay at 8:30, which is a replay of the 1:15 episode of Mr. Deacon on Sundays. Then we get back to Mondays. So I want to thank you guys real quick and tell you that you can also find us at the First Gen Xers Facebook page. You can also find us at First Gen Xers on Twitter, and you can also find us at First Gen Xers, the fan page on Facebook. You can find me personally at Double KK Double on YouTube, Double KK Double on Twitter, or the Double KK Double Network Facebook page. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening in. On to the next episode. Peace. Well, there's not another episode, but there's more of me and O'Malley. I know y'all want to stick around and listen to that, right? Right? I know y'all do. All right. Y'all wouldn't be here in the first place if y'all didn't want to. All right. So what we're going to talk about a little bit now is, let's touch a little bit on this NFL offseason so far, or kind of like what some of the things that happened towards the end of the season. Things like Derek Carr getting sat with 2 games left in the season and then released by Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. And there's a good chance that they're going to hold on to Jarrett Stidham in his place. And I just don't get it. Like, the problem with the Raiders was never Derek Carr.
So much to say here.
So
I have so much to say here.
The floor is yours, Miss O'Malley. The floor is yours.
I mean, because, and after the move, the Raiders can fuck off for all I care, but the way that they handled this situation, pretty much the way that they've handled every situation since they've decided to leave for Vegas, honestly, I mean, if we're being honest here, is absolutely ridiculous. But then you got fans, because I'm still part of these groups, I'm still administrator of a lot of these groups, and but people are sitting here, right, like, so many people are glad that he is gone, but then they got hella butthurt and hella pissed off that he wouldn't accept the trade, and they had to release him, and they started talking shit about him. And I was like, this is what we call karma. Had they not treated him the way they did at the end of the season, benching him before the Niner game, of all of that, not even giving him the respect of being able to say goodbye to the fans, shit like that, like, they asked for this. Had they handled this situation better, so would he have.
They did him dirty.
Wrong. Yeah. They made a business decision, and he turned around and made a business decision himself.
Yep.
Period. They just got their just desserts because they ended up not even being able to trade him in the first place, which is why they said they sat him in the first place, was so that he wouldn't get hurt, so they'd be able to get something for him. Well, how'd that work out for you?
Let's be truthful. Were they really ever going to be able to move his $40 million contract? Like there were very few teams that they were going to have options where they could actually get anything back. A lot of the teams that would have had interest in him weren't going to be able to give up that much, or weren't going to be able to. Most of the teams that would have been interested in him, with an exception for like the Jets, I believe, and the Saints, would have even had enough cap room to be able to make the trade without adding a player or two to the trade. Right. And so it's just one of those type of things where it's just like they screwed him. They screwed him in every which way possible. So why in any realm of imagination would he give them and do a service for them? They did him wrong in every which way they could think of. And so why would he drop his no trade clause so that they could get something for him? No, you don't want me here? F you. I'm out.
The one thing I love, though, is that people throwing out there, that's not very Christian of him. No, it's very human of him. Like, yeah, It's fucking hilarious. Like, how do you get from that to that? Like, it has nothing to do with it. Like, him making sure his family is taken care of, him making sure he's taken care of. Like, the things that people are throwing out there is like, you're just really grasping at straws at this point, aren't you? Your hate for that man is so strong that you're going to talk shit about anything, because that's the thing, is there doesn't seem to be a real middle ground on Carr amongst Raider Nation. You loved him or you hated him, right? And I think, given the right team, the right circumstances, he can excel. We've seen it happen. We saw it in 2016 before he got hurt, you know. But he's had some really shitty coaches, really shitty everything else. And it's not to say, like, because people are like, oh, a good quarterback would be able to do it, right? Well, you kind of have to have more than just that.
He was a good quarterback. He was just never given a good team. Like, let's be real. Like, I think the Raiders ranked in the top 15 in defense like once during his 6-7 year tenure there. You know, like Derek Carr was not the problem with why that team couldn't win. I'm not saying the defense was. I'm just saying I know.
They gave them their first winning season in fucking forever.
Exactly. So, like, I'm like, the dude won under Jack Del Rio and got him to the playoffs. Yeah. So to me, it just doesn't make sense, the hate that comes out of there. Now, if this was Green Bay fans and they were talking about Aaron Rodgers, I would agree with them, because I have lost more respect for Aaron Rodgers over the past couple of weeks, over the past couple of years, than I have lost for almost anybody ever. Like, dude, like, I get it. You're one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, but these last 2 seasons have proven exactly that you are a diva. Like, a diva to the... We are here in a second offseason waiting for him to make a decision about where he wants to play next year. The entire offseason being held hostage because Aaron Rodgers can't decide what the fuck he wants to do. This is just getting too much for me.
It feels like LeBron all over again. The announcement. like, you think that highly of yourself. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's just, but that's part of, like, his character flaw.
All offseason is Aaron Rodgers say, I'm not going to San Fran. Thank the fucking Lord.
I mean, right. Like it was ever an option. Like
they ain't got the cap room to take on his $56 million ass.
Nor do they feel like putting up with his fucking diva behavior. And he is also, I am sorry, not a player who would fit back in the Bay.
We close to wrap this up. Let's touch on one last thing. As we know, a couple of weeks ago, LeBron James, the self-proclaimed GOAT, the furthest thing from it, broke the all-time scoring record. A record that people say, oh my God, I never thought anybody was going to break it. When in reality, like, I've seen multiple YouTube videos that have broken this down. Like, if you followed the fact of how they changed the rules of the game, it was destined that somebody was going to break it. It was just a matter of, was somebody going to play long enough to do it?
Right.
You know, but
that's the key part right there. The amount of time someone has to play.
Exactly, and we'll get into that, because we talk about, I've seen in many places, and I'm tired of seeing it. Jordan fans pissed because LeBron James now GOAT after scoring title, and the first comment is always, that shit didn't make Kareem the GOAT. Why would it make LeBron the GOAT?
Right.
And Kareem has more accolades, more individual accolades than LeBron has, and he had the all-time scoring record, and he still wasn't considered the GOAT over Jordan.
Right.
So, I'll say this, and we spoke about this off air, and I'll let you have your time, but I said it like this to O'Malley off air. He lost the GOAT debate once he hit year 16, and he hadn't accomplished all that Jordan had accomplished. As many championships, finals MVPs, defensive player of the years, scoring titles. You know what I'm saying? He hit year 15 and hadn't matched Jordan in almost any category, any of the major categories. The GOAT debate was over for me there. So I don't even know what all this new talk is. This is just another accomplishment for him to add to his resume as the second best player to ever play basketball. O'Malley, your thoughts?
Yeah, and Jordan was also a lot older when he entered the league. There's a lot to be said about that too, because that was back in during the time where they couldn't go straight from high school into the NBA. But even with that said, back to the same conversation we were having off air, right? Is how many championships did MJ lose? None.
Zero. Zip.
He won every single championship he went to. Okay? LeBron has lost more than he's won. So that says it all for me right there. If MJ was in a championship, they were winning that championship. And one of those wins that LeBron has shouldn't really be a win.
And here's what the rebuttal I hear all the time when I bring up the fact that how impressive it is that Jordan never lost. Well, first and foremost, the almost instantaneous rebuttal is Robert Horry has 7-0, and John Havlicek. Yeah, but John Havlicek wasn't. He wasn't the leader of any of the teams in which he won his 8 titles, and neither was Robert Horry. They were both role players on really good teams.
They were part of a team.
Exactly. And so therefore I can't look at theirs the same way I look at Jordan, which he was the leader for every squad. Yeah, he may not have led in points or rebounds and assists and all the rest of that. That was Scottie Pippen, but Jordan was the guy that was leading that team. Everybody knew that. And without Jordan, they won 55 games, but did they win a championship? No, they didn't. They couldn't even get out the second round without Jordan. As good as that team around him was, and they won 55 games, got to the second round, was a game away from the conference championship, they couldn't get there without him. So, but at the end of the day, I'm like, so that negates that one. And then the second thing is the competition argument, which to me is one of the weakest. Well, LeBron faced hard. Jordan ain't never faced no dynasties. Look, guys, one of the things that a GOAT should have on his resume is that he stopped dynasties from winning championships. Jordan has that on his resume. The Celtics dynasty, the Pistons dynasty, both were dynasties that were stopped by Jordan and the Bulls, that were prevented from continuing on by Jordan and the Bulls. Right. You know what I'm saying? So when you're
in the dynasty Jordan created.
Exactly. In the process. And so if you were to look at a team, and this is not me saying this as a homer, but if you were to look at a team current day who's done more of that than LeBron-led teams has, it would be the Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? They prevented the Spurs dynasty from ever having a dynasty with Kawhi, which they were hoping for to rebuild their dynasty and keep it going. The Warriors put an end to all that. What else? Who else was it? The Clippers. Their little dynastic run of trying to go win a championship that never came to be. The Warriors put an end to that shit. Like LeBron's run of trying to win 4, 5, 6, but going to 5, 6, 7, 8, but trying to win 4, 5, 6 titles. The Warriors put a kibosh on that shit. So it's like if you want to look for a team, not to mention now owning the single season record for most wins in a season, though without the chip, but still, if you were to look at a team that's that's really legitly as close to those Bulls teams during that 8-year run, it's the Golden State Warriors right now. And so,
it's no coincidence that we have a coach who played as part of that dynasty.
Very much so. Very much so. And so, and I'm not knocking LeBron James. Getting to 10 finals, that's great. But I'm sick and tired of hearing, oh, well, the teams were really hard when he got there. And understand, folks, I'm going to break this down for you real quick. This is what we mean by participation trophy mindset. Okay? For us, it don't matter how difficult the opposition is. The purpose is to win. If you think that the competition is too hard and you're okay with losing, don't step the fuck on my court. Because they need dogs out there. They need dogs who are willing to win. And LeBron James, evidently being the leader of these teams, ain't that dog. Because even he's making excuses and allowing his fan base to make excuses. If I was LeBron James, I would get up on this podium and go, look, to all my fans, shut the hell up. Y'all are not making me look good. Matter of fact, the more excuses y'all continue to make for my losses, the worse I look. So shut up and stop it. I lost.
He doesn't have that much self-awareness.
Yeah, he doesn't have that much. You're right. You're 100% right. He does not have that much self-awareness. But at the end of the day,
he likes the fact that they co-sign because that's his behavior. When they win, it's all on him. When they lose, it's everybody else's fault.
Yep. I didn't have a team around me. We need more shooters.
It's that mindset. It's that mindset. It's that his fan base mindset.
You know, they take that mindset from their leader. Give me my damn respect. I ain't never heard Jordan say nothing about give me my damn respect. If you disrespected Jordan, you know what he did? He went out and lit up whoever the hell he was playing the next game for like 65 just because he could.
I mean, look at the old videos of him and Kobe talking about fucking with each other, playing with each other like that.
So it just kills me the fact that people want to put this man, people are trying to force, and here's what's funny. The same people that are trying to force LeBron James down your throat as the GOAT are the same people that talk about you're not appreciating his greatness, while at the same time in the same sentence or in the same paragraph putting down all the greats that came before LeBron, all the greats that laid the pathway for LeBron, calling them plumbers, calling them no good, calling them zero competition, talking about a weak era. Y'all sit here and demand, and this is once again epitome of what your main guy does. Demand respect for him, demand people respect and appreciate his greatness while dogging the greatness of others, while not doing that and setting the example yourself.
Right.
You know, it's like you can't dog and call Jeff Hornacek.
The hypocrisy of all of it.
Exactly. You can't call John Stockton and Karl Malone possibly the greatest 1-2 punch in the history of the game. They up their top 5. No matter how much nobody respects Malone anymore, but still, his basketball skills are unquestioned.
You must have read my mind.
But his basketball skills are unquestioned. Like the man had skill, no matter how shitty of a human being he was.
Exactly.
And so you put down people like that while telling us to respect LeBron. I got news for y'all guys. Everybody talking about if LeBron went back in time, LeBron James would be Karl Malone. The same guy that y'all call a plumber and y'all disrespect. I don't mean off the court. No, stop. Don't even let your brain go there.
Right.
I'm talking about on the court play style. That would be LeBron James. Y'all keep remembering that the stars of today would not be the same players. They would still be stars. I don't ever take that away from them. A star is a star in any era. They would still be stars, but they would not be the top tier stars that they are today. Like I said, LeBron James would be Karl Malone if you took him and put him back there. But nobody ever wants to see that because we live in a society today, and instead of having intellectual discourse, everybody wants to have an argument and everybody wants to be a comedian and crack a joke. And instead of having actual intellectual discourse where you respect each other's opinions, everybody would rather just talk shit. And that's why this GOAT debate will go nowhere because not a single LeBron fan out there is trying to actually have an intellectual discourse about it.
No, and then they like to get in with the personal attacks, right? Well, I couldn't win my argument basketball-wise, so now I'm going to attack your character. It's crazy.
Just how this generation works. And
They're
it's
delusional.
Sad. Yeah. It's just, I'm right, you're wrong. Even if I'm wrong, I'm still right and you're wrong.
Right.
And even if you prove me wrong, I'm still right and you're wrong. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to beat my head up against this rock. I'm just going to kind of end that conversation right there and walk away. It's just one of those type of things where I've gotten to the point where I don't even really comment anymore. In my, I see the post. I may jump into the comment section and read what a few other people wrote, but for the most part, I just leave it alone now because it's the same repetitive roundabout conversations. Look, y'all, bottom line, LBJ is definitely one of the greatest. I can't even say he's the greatest of this generation because you got guys like Steph, you got guys like KD that are up there with him, whether LeBron fans want to admit it or not. You know, there are people up on par with his level, and that's the difference with Jordan. Is when Jordan played, there was nobody on his level. Exactly, on Kobe as well. You know, so I'm like these guys. Go ahead.
And MJ and Kobe had something that LeBron has never had, and it's that mental part, right? That mental strength, that mental acuity, that like the ability to psych out your opponent versus being psyched out by your opponent. They have the emotional intelligence that he does not. He's emotional, but not emotionally intelligent.
I think LeBron, I will say this, and this is kind of my last point. There is such thing as worrying too much about your brand. And I think that's a big part of LeBron's problem is he worries too much about his brand.
Yeah. And it comes off real bad.
The Lakers may make the playoffs this year, guys, but don't expect them to make a run. Like I'm sorry, just don't. Like they may make the postseason, but just don't expect them to make a run. I'd say keep your expectations low. Because LeBron's turning out like the Dallas Cowboys. Every time you think there's a shot, that's when he stabs you in the heart. Don't let him do it to you again, guys. Like the Cowboys did again this year.
Most of the real Lakers fans, though, are just like waiting for him to be gone. They don't want him.
Not that I've seen it all. Like these guys, every time I talk to an actual Lakers fan, I know has been a Lakers fan long before LeBron. They're just like, dude, I'm just waiting for him to retire, and go do something else. So our team actually has a chance because the team is basically at this point. I think they have one draft pick in the next 5 years, one first round draft pick in the next 5 years.
Yep.
So, but all right, we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. It's been a great show as always with O'Malley. We'll have you back in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks on the 19th. No, is that 3 weeks? That's 3 weeks from now, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know. We'll have her back in a couple of weeks in rotation. And then we'll probably do another, hopefully, group with all of us after the NBA Finals. So keep an eye out for that, guys. And as always, look for us on Twitch. Look for us on YouTube, First Gen Xers, and look for us, of course, right here on Spreaker. So, O'Malley, any last words for him?
Fuck LeBron.
I missed that. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week when I'll be back here with the duel to talk a little Lakers, to talk a little LBJ scoring record, and to talk a little Super Bowl. Thanks for joining us on First Gen Xers, The Classroom. Peace.